I'm Alicia Alvarez, and I'm on the faculty at the law school. It's my pleasure to introduce our last speaker today, Josh Newell. Josh is a human environment geographer, and he teaches in the School of Natural Resources and the Environment. His areas of research are urban infrastructure, including looking at energy, water, transportation, and the built environment, and also urban consumption and commodities, the role of governance, frameworks, and our responsibilities as global green urban citizens. His favorite food is sushi, especially yellowtail and sea urchin. Join me in welcoming Josh Newell.
Last but not least, I'm going to start with a map as a good geographer, and this is a striking map to me. It's, I don't know if you can read the title, so I will. The bottom is the percentage of the population that could theoretically be fed within a 50-mile radius, and all the blue is 80 to 100% in an urban or around an urban area. That is remarkable to me when you think about the potential to scale up agriculture to feed folks locally. But the big question becomes, I think, when you scale up, what are the impacts of that on food, energy, water, on socioeconomic welfare? You're obviously displacing other food chains, other food production areas. And so I don't have the answer to this, and this is a proposal that didn't quite make it through the NSF. But I think it's a really interesting question, and that's why I bring it here today. But the question is, will it mitigate or exacerbate it, right? So I think it varies by region, by production method, by climate. I think it's still a question that we don't have a good answer to. And so the ideas in our proposal was to systematically evaluate the potential impacts of scaling up on food, energy, and water, and socioeconomic well-being. And then to identify feasible pathways forward. And so we made this rather wonky model, but basically stakeholders would drive scenarios of varying production method, production scale, energy source, water source, climate variability, land use practices, management practices. And then through these scenarios of varying degrees, right? So that you would then understand the impacts on food, energy, water systems and have quantify the impacts on water quality, water stress, air quality, soil carbon, greenhouse gas emissions, and of course food production as an objective, as well as socioeconomic well-being. And I use the term city region. I don't know if you noticed that, but I think we need to, if we're talking about regional food systems, we need to look beyond the urban and think of this broader context around it. So I find this to be a fascinating question. Look forward to maybe working with some of you on it. I can also offer some work we're doing in Detroit. As many of you know, Detroit is a dynamic landscape with lots of vacancy, and urban agriculture is one potential solution for some of this land. And so what we're doing now, we're working in the Lower East Side, and we're actually collaborating with a community organization to map urban gardens using Google Earth and footpaths. There's thousands and thousands of footpaths all over Detroit across permeable vacant landscapes. So we're mapping both of them using Google Earth, and actually using Google Earth to do a time series to see the expansion of gardens. It's quite remarkable. I think we have twice as many gardens from 2010 to 2015, like 95 in this area. So that's a really interesting finding. We're going out in the field. We went last year. We're going again next week, the end of this week, to do physical audits, and we have also done a number of interviews as well. Previously, and we'll continue to do that. So we're really looking forward to characterizing the type of agriculture that's underway, both in terms of the on-the-ground activity, but also the motivations for why people are planting gardens. This is just a map of the sites in 2010. They're very dispersed. And one of the things we're interested in doing in this project is doing what we call multi-criteria evaluation. So thinking about future deployment of urban ag, where can we put it in sites of need? So layering all different sorts of ecological criteria, social criteria, equity criteria, and then identifying optimal parcels for transforming the landscape for the benefit of people and the environment. So that's where we're headed with that. Thank you.